Welcome to Open BXRX Tuesday on BronxNet. I'm your host, Kibin Alleyne, and I'd like to invite you to get social with us at BronxNet TV on Instagram and Twitter, and BronxNet Community Television on Facebook. With a mission to highlight the Latin experience in New York City, second generation Dominican American Djali Brown-Cepeda created Nuevayorkinos. Now, the founder is here to discuss her latest project that explores the Latin American experience with immigration. Djali, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been on the show before, but for those who don't know, can you tell us about Nueva Yorkinos?
Yes, so Nuevayorkinos is a digital archival oral history project that is centering the New York City Latinx experience through collecting family photos and stories. And it's alive on social media. I have a website, and now it's in a museum again. So, really cool.
And how did this actually begin for you?
So I was in Dominican Republic, visiting the country for the second time in my life because I did not grow up going back and forth to the island like a lot of my other, friends. But I went with my family, and I was watching a show on television that basically was supposed to be, you know, transformative in its Afro Latinx representation, and it just wasn't that. So honestly, I was really annoyed, and to not go to bed annoyed, I went on my phone like we all do, and I'm scrolling and scrolling, and I don't know. It was one of those light bulb moments. I had been out of college already for like a year and a half, but I had taken archiving classes, art classes, photography classes, things like this. Obviously, film classes. I majored in film, so I was always, thinking about media representation, and I work in film. So I think it was just one of those like random, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. moments of like creativity where I just thought, oh my God, wait, where is like the Latinx New Yorker, like, representation online? And I found the West Coast, I don't want to say equivalent because she is the OG, but Guadalupe Rosales, she does Veteranas and Rucas, which is a homage to the women of South California, of LA. And I was very inspired by her project, and I thought, you know what? Where is this for, this side of the country? Where is this for, this city? Where is this for my neighborhoods? And I didn't see it. So I just thought I might as well do it. And here we are. It's going to be 3 years on February 14th. So my passion project was born in the wee hours of Valentine's Day.
So I love that you kind of emphasize New York City because I do feel like as New Yorkers, we do have like a unique experience, and I think
Yes.
you add in your background, it just makes it even more rich. Can you just explain like the relationship between New York City and the Latin community?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so extensive, New York City, similar to, I mean, New York City is such a microcosm, right, of the rest of the country, but we have existed here. We do exist here, and we will continue to exist here, whether we're looking at Puerto Rican migration, at like the top of the turn of the century, or you're looking at Dominican migration, starting during the dictatorship, or you're looking at Colombian migration, or you're looking at Cuban migration. New York City is such a, it's a place where people come and people feel, or they find rather community. We have our enclaves. We have Little Washington, in Washington Heights, you have Quisqueya Heights, you have Little Dominican Republic, you have Loisaida in the Lower East Side. So it's a place where we're all able to come, hustle, get the money, make sure that our people, our networks are good here and back home. And it's a place where we foster community. I think that the Latinx experience in New York City, and I'm just speaking from experience, it's something that is so different. It is not the same Latinx experience as Chicago's, or as Miami's, or as LA's, or as, Houston's, right? Like it is so different. And so I think that New York is a place where we all kind of coexist together in ways that are different than different cities and different than our respective countries. So the community here is just so extensive. We've contributed so much. We have contributed. We are contributing. We will continue to contribute, and we just exist on this sort of continuum of immigrants, of the immigrant community here in New York City. And I think it's something that's very special.
I agree 1000% with like everything that you said. So, thank you so much for that. Now, your latest project is titled Nuevayorkinos Essential and Excluded. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so Nuevayorkinos, as folks know who follow the project, is really kind of centered in the past, right? So my submissions cap at 2010, but I've become very interested in, also showing up for and amplifying and standing in solidarity with folks who are at the beginning or in different stages of their immigration sort of journey here to the city, and maybe people who I have who wouldn't necessarily feel or who I just haven't necessarily represented thus far. And so basically what this show is, I had the incredible opportunity to partner with MoMA PS1 and with other organizations, Make the Road New York, New York Communities for Change, the Street Vendor Project, who all of them came together last year in 2020 to sort of mobilize and create the Fund Excluded Workers Coalition, the FEW Coalition. And they have been fighting for COVID relief, economic assistance for undocumented workers since last year, right? Since the pandemic happened, because unlike other folks who have citizen privilege, undocumented people, despite being the heart of this country, were not able to engage with or receive this aid from the government level. And so there was a hunger strike last year, but this year was a longer hunger strike, a 23-day hunger strike that happened in April, and basically incredibly resilient, joyous, dope activists, organizers came together, intergenerational, multiracial, multi-ethnic, people coming from different countries, but they came together. Desi's Rising Up drum is their name of their organization. There were Chinese American organizations, but everyone came together to participate in this hunger strike, to push the government to pass a bill. And so initially, they fought for $3.5 billion. And this year, rather, $2.1 billion was passed for an excluded workers fund. And in that fund, basically, I believe the majority of undocumented workers, excluded workers who applied for the fund received the fund, and they received $15,600. And so this aid was able to cover so much. It was able to cover their debts. It was able to cover school supplies for their children. And so I had the opportunity to memorialize this moment, and I wanted to do so, by taking up space in MoMA PS1 with this immigrant story that is so, it just speaks to the power of immigrants in this country. People who have fought and who've always fought, for what we deserve. But I mean, just these, strikers put their bodies on the line for 23 days, and they didn't eat. Many were older, and so I wanted to, memorialize them and just basically pay homage to such an incredibly strong moment in history, important moment in history, New York City history, the country's history. So that's basically what's on display now.
And how does it feel to be a woman of color, to have this exhibition with this particular focus become part of the MoMA?
Oh, I mean, my whole thing, like if I had a motto or one of my many mottos is like take up space. And I just feel incredibly grateful and humbled that I was able to take up space in this institution, and it's multiple levels, right? Taking up space as a woman of color, and my particular identifiers: I'm a Black woman, I'm a Dominican woman, I'm a woman from uptown, I'm a Dominican Yorker, I'm an Afro-Indigenous woman. So taking up space within my multiple identities as me, as the curator of this particular project is you know insert word. I don't really have the words yet to sort of like work through that and process, but also having a community that has been incredibly marginalized and completely overlooked be the focus and be centered in this predominantly white institution was something that I felt incredibly, again, just humbled and grateful to be the catalyst for, and to be taking up space in Long Island City, which is the most rapidly gentrifying neighborhood within the country. Even though it's in a borough that is the most diverse because of its immigrant population and demographic, but one that is incredibly excluded, when you're looking at sort of the trends of gentrification and museums, what they're showing, what's on display, who's able to come into these museums. So I'm not sure, Mama PS1 has ever had that many Latinx immigrants and immigrants from different countries, because we had Vietnamese immigrants, vending. There were African immigrants vending. There were Afro-Colombian, immigrants performing. It was just it was a lot. And I feel I'm still there, like mentally and emotionally. I'm still there. And I just feel very grateful. And it's, something that I, of course, did because of my work, but it's something that the ancestors and everybody who came before me, people who I am biologically related to, and folks that I am just, ancestrally related to, they were the guiding forces of this project. And I just hope that, wherever they are, they were smiling and dancing and celebrating with us. So I'm very grateful to have this opportunity.
Thank you so much for, that heartfelt, just response to everything. And we could definitely see like how passionate you are about this. Can you just let everybody know where they can stay in touch with you, see the exhibit, and so much more?
Yes. So the exhibit is up until the first week of January. It's at MoMA PS1, which is in Long Island City, Queens. So you can go there. It's free for New Yorkers. So just say you're a New Yorker, show them your ID. You can get in for free. Many people do not know this about museums in New York. Many of them are free for New Yorkers. Despite them being very exclusive, they're free. So go and take up space. So the show is up until next year, top of the year. And to stay in touch, you can DM me at Nuevayorkinos. You could send me an email, which is on my website. And if you want to submit your photos and videos and stories, the guidelines are very simple. All you got to do, or you have to be Latinx from New York. The photos and videos have to have been shot within the 5 boroughs before 2010. And just send me, your country of origin and the story. So I hope that all of y'all, if you feel so inclined, I hope that y'all submit.
Djali, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back with more Open BXRX Tuesday.